You know, there's a lot of messed up stuff in politics, but very few things are as messed up as using children as political tools and weapons. Welcome back to Words of Paradise. I'm your host, Leon Idol. And yes, if you hadn't heard, that's exactly what CNN is doing, right? Big shocker. We asked 10-year-olds about the election. Here's what we learned. Why? Why are you asking 10-year-olds? Why are you going to elementary schools and talking to children about Donald Trump this and Kamala Harris that? These are kids. They can't vote. They can't do anything about it. What you're trying to do is you're trying to instill a certain thought process, a certain indoctrination into them. Now, obviously, because it's CNN, we know the version they want. They want them to be indoctrinated towards Kamala Harris, towards the left-leaning liberal ideologies, which, let's be real, I got an issue with. But to be fair, I would also have an issue if you were doing this from a hardcore conservative standards. Maybe we should just let kids be kids and teach them about being good people while keeping political ideologies out of it, just for a little while. I mean, we're talking about elementary schoolers here. So we're gonna go through this article. Before we do, hit that subscribe button. I'm a nerdy news channel. I cover nerdy news every day. And look, you guys got a couple of nerdy news stories earlier. This one's gonna be a bit more political because it is, kind of important here. It's jarring to hear American kids talk about politics and see the country's often angry political debate filtered through young people. Really? If it's so jarring, then why are you doing it? Again, because you're using these children as political weapons. This is so disgusting. When a child is asked for one word to describe former President Donald Trump and comes up with pure evil, well, by the way, that must mean this kid's dumb, because they said one word. That is 2 words. Follow instructions, kids. Maybe we should stop having all this pride stuff in the classrooms, and teachers can teach them how to critically think, because that was a very simple question. 1-word answer. Just throwing that out there. It suggests a level of division that might surprise the average American. Researchers found that Democrats supporting kids drove polarization in a new study for CNN, and that children were more likely to say they wouldn't be friends with someone who supports Trump. Kids in red states, on the other hand, were more likely to repeat misinformation. Dude, these are elementary schoolers! 90% of what they say is probably misinformation. Like what are you even talking about? The findings are the result of more than 40 hours of interviews commissioned by CNN's Anderson Cooper 360 to talk politics with 80 elementary schoolers in Arizona, a 2024 battleground state, New Jersey, a blue state, and Texas, a red state. Well, hey, at least they're diversifying it. At least if they're going to try and indoctrinate children, they're going to all corners of the U.S. to do so. There's your silver lining for this article. With the parents okay, researchers got their kids unfiltered thoughts about the presidential candidates of the election. Well, screw these parents as well. How can you be a parent? How can you be a parent and say, yeah, go ahead, come into my school, talk to my impressionable young elementary school age child about these deep-rooted political issues that they have no business learning about or knowing about or caring about. I get it. Being aware and politically informed is important, and frankly, I'm kind of a hypocrite because I was really into politics when I was that age. 9/11 happened when I was about 8 years old, give or take, and from then on, I was a political junkie. I was always watching the news. That being said, it probably wasn't too healthy for me. You see what I've turned into. I'm a conspiracy nutball on YouTube, so while at the end of the day, it's probably objectively a good thing, that stuff was scarring. I mean, I remember watching the news and seeing literal bodies of soldiers on the ground when we were in Iraq, and it was... This is the sort of things, and we're so much worse off now. We're so much more polarized, and I don't know if we're worse off now, but it's very apparent how bad it is thanks to the ease of access to the internet. We at least didn't have that in the right after post 9/11 situation. Well, we did, but again, it was more in its infancy. Either way, this is an incredibly disgusting practice, and it goes deeper. Democrat-leaning kids drove polarization in September, according to an analysis prepared by Landrum. When kids were asked how much they like Harris or Trump on a 5-point scale, the Democrat-leaning blue state kids were more likely to say they really liked Harris and really disliked Trump. Republican-leaning kids and red state kids liked Trump, but were neutral or even positive about Harris. Now, I'm curious what sort of questions you're asking these kids. How are you leading them on? How are you phrasing this? What trickery of the words are you using to dupe these, probably 10-year-old, give or take, to get the answers that you're wanting for your biased CNN article? More negative feelings about Trump among Democrat-leaning kids. Oh, what a shock. The kids that are, in a house full of Democrat, parents and siblings, or in a Democrat school or system or state like New Jersey. Yeah, that's gonna happen. Like, this is so infuriating. Again, these are children. These are children being used as political weapons. What does this article actually serve to do? What does it teach us? What is it telling us about the issues? What is it telling us about Kamala Harris's policies? What is it telling us about, like, we're not even really getting any information about the kids themselves, about the homes they grow up in or anything that isn't inherently obvious. Like, oh, this kid's in elementary school. His parents are Democrats. Yeah, he's probably going to be a Democrat. Or little Susie over here, yeah, she lives in Texas and her parents are staunchly Republican. Well, as long as she's staying off of YouTube and TikTok, she's also probably Republican just because that's what her parents are. Like, and it's frickin' Texas. This is so... It's sickening, disgusting. I know I keep saying that, but I can't think of a better word. There are also, Trump, on the other hand, is an established trigger. Among adults, the usual result is that Republicans are the more hostile toward Democrats than vice versa, he said. It suggests something about the cast of characters and race, i.e. Kamala Harris is a relatively unknown, and therefore people do not have a lot of extreme views, either positive or negative towards her. Trump, on the other hand, is an established trigger, Inger said, and blue state kids have assimilated with their parents and are telling them, and they're pretty hostile to him. Oh, great, yes, indoctrination to youth. But get this. Kids think the country is ready for a woman of color president. And while I want to believe that this is just CNN editorializing, with how much they put emphasis on gender and race nowadays, by the way, genders of which there's only two of, yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if we actually do hear 8, 9, 10-year-olds in the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th grade saying stuff like this, we need a black woman of color president. Really, dude, again, we are talking about children here. Look at, how old do you think this girl is? Now, to be fair, I've read this article. They say they're in 4th grade, and this study was done over a long period of time, so they go from 4th grade to 5th grade, and the study was also done when Biden was still in office, and then they switched the study once, Harris becomes, stepped in, as they put it, stepped in, didn't have any votes for or anything to that effect. Even a majority of kids who support Trump agreed Harris would be a sort of good president. The red state kids were more supportive of Harris in September than they were of Biden in May. Well, yeah, that's because, let's be real, Biden's scary. They get on stage, he gets on stage, kids are watching the news, and they probably think, oh my god, that's the Grim Reaper. They look at, Harris, and it's, frankly, when she smiles, still kind of Grim Reaperish. I mean, she's all teeth, but most kids, about 2/3, including a majority of red states, say it would be a good thing to have a woman as president, although a few worry that other people might not support a woman. Again, why are kids thinking about why it matters if a woman as president or why a man is president? If you are going to try and indoctrinate the children, shouldn't you at least try and indoctrinate them to, hey, it should be the best person for the job, it shouldn't really matter what their gender is, just throwing that one out there. You are inciting this division that you're claiming we're all experiencing. Oh, we're so polarized right now. Then maybe stop talking about this shit to kids and breeding a new generation of even further polarization. Most kids in the study, more than 80% overall, in both red and blue states, said the country is ready for its president to be a woman of color. Did they say that? I mean, again, did they say that? It would be good for us to have a black woman as president for the first time in history, but my vote's kind of still on Trump, said one girl. Okay, base little girl, but again, I don't know, did you say black woman? Because I'm sure the kids are raised not to say black. Is that allowed? I'm not even sure. Would you go to a Trump or Harris supporter's house? Now they're asking the kids, hey, and where is your family going to go? Would you rather go to the house of someone who supports Trump? They're trying to show that the people that support Trump and the people that support Harris are fundamentally different types of homes and families. Are they demonizing one? Are they saying one is better than the other? Well, it's CNN, so I would guess probably so. Well, let's find out. In both May and September, Landrum showed kids pictures of 2 houses, one with a Trump sign and one with a Biden-Harris sign, and asked if they or their parents would be comfortable visiting. Most Landrum notes were open to visiting the house associated with either political party, but she adds that a higher percentage of Democrat-leaning kids, a third of them in September, were unwilling to visit the homes of children whose families support Trump. Few of the Trump-leaning kids said they would be unwilling to visit the Democrat-backing house. It's almost as if the conservatives, the Republicans, are actually the more open and accepting, like, hey, yeah, don't really care about your political affiliation. I mean, I think that what you believe is stupid, but as long as we can go bowling together at the end of the night and not talk politics, maybe we can have a good time. And I'm glad that the parents are instilling that into their children, but maybe they don't have to bring up politics or talk about politically, just like, hey, sometimes people are going to believe things that you don't believe, they're going to have points of view you don't agree with. Just focus on what you can to get along, the things that you do agree with one another on, and at the end of the day, we can be fundamentally all good people to one another. You're a Christian, your best friend's a Muslim, but you play soccer together on Saturday, and it's a blast. Bingo, bango, bongo. Trump's legal problem, Biden's age, a Taylor Swift effect. Of course, they're going to bring up Taylor Swift to the youth because Why wouldn't they? Plenty of misinformation. Again, these are children we're talking about. Of course they're going to give misinformation. Multiple children repeated falsehoods about the candidates, and most of them were aimed at Trump, according to Landrum, although she found that more of the kids in the red state said something that could be viewed as misinformation. In September, she asked the kids in a follow-up question where they had heard a particular claim, and it frequently came from their parents. Again, look, I'm going to judge parents here really in both instances, because unless your kid is already being hyper politicized by like the school system, for example, and you're trying to mitigate that, why are you talking to him about this stuff? It should not be the burden of the child to think that World War III is coming if we don't have that black woman of color president, or the orange man is bad or whatnot. Shouldn't you just be making sure that they're not on their tablet all day, and that they're maybe outside riding a bike, staying fit and healthy, making sure they're not taking candy from strangers or eating too much McDonald's? Like, what purpose does it serve? What is the gain in putting all this political nonsense into the face of children, which again they're probably being bombarded with in these jacked up school systems either way? This is an infuriating situation, because these are our children we're talking about. These are the kids that are going to grow up, they're going to start voting, they're going to start having opinions, but for now they're in 4th grade. Are we now going to have to, because of CNN, worry that they're going to start, hating their fellow classmates or arguing with them or distancing themselves from them just because, they found out through this study, hey, little Susie's a Harris supporter and my family supports Trump, and I guess now we can't play together? Because that seems like what is, and even if that's not what is, this is CNN we're talking about. This was funded by CNN, this was funded by Anderson Cooper, and they are openly ridiculously left-leaning. So what you really expect them to say anything nice about Trump? Or do you think maybe they they kind of poked and prodded the kids a little bit to make sure all the negative animosity about the Big Don came out? I wouldn't be surprised if something like that happened. Like, this is ideological. No, in fact, this is akin to the way the Nazis made their kids super soldiers. They're bringing these children up just to agree with every single ideological bend they can, so they are good little worker bees for the party as they get older. Don't question it, and indoctrinate while they're young. I find it to be disgusting. But those are just my opinions. Let me know yours in the comments down below, or let me know on X, where you can find me at Bolt the Word, and please do subscribe. I am a nerdy news channel. I cover nerdy news every day. I get it. This story wasn't particularly nerdy, but again, it's kind of an important one. So, yes, normally about anime, movies, music, Magic the Gathering, you name it. Check me out on Instagram at wordsofparadise_Leon, and become a member for $4.99 a month. You can join the Discord, choose the articles I go over on a day-to-day basis, choose the videos I react to on my Friday night live streams, and of course, get involved with over 80 other vital idols. We are a bright, beautiful, glowing, vibrant community that I cannot wait to grow even further, because we do care about diversity. But only one kind of diversity of thought. If that's interesting to you, join the Discord, hit subscribe, and until next time, it is all here in the Nerdosphere. This has been Words of Paradise.